Hello everyone, my name is Boston. I am a shamanic Reiki master and a plant medicine educator, and today I'm going to be sharing my story. I'm really excited. There's quite a few of you that are new in this group, and I wanted to share with you my story and why I'm doing this work, why I want to be sharing all this knowledge in this community. Hello. So let's get started. Let me know if you're watching. Just say hi so I can see all your beautiful faces. And if you're watching the replay, type replay. And last week I shared with you about the importance of sharing your story. And this week I thought it'd be great to share with you my story. So I'm going to get really vulnerable, and I might be sharing a few things in my story that may be triggering. So just come to this space with an open mind, knowing that this is my perception on my reality, and it doesn't have to match yours. And it doesn't have to be any kind of way of living that you think that I should be living. We're gonna just draw down all the barriers, all the walls, all the opinions, and leave this container very open to witnessing my truth. So I hope that you guys can do that for me, and I will always do that for you. And this is a really good thing to come into this space of no opinions when you're hearing someone else's story, because they're looking through their life through their own glasses and their own lens, and we want them to feel safe. So I'm gonna get really vulnerable with you today. So let's get started. So I am now 28 years old, and I grew up with a lot of sexual trauma. This is actually something that I didn't even remember until I was about 26. My brain had actually deleted or blocked out that whole experience, and it wasn't only until a few years ago that I actually remembered that happened. So that is real. If you've seen that on movies or anything, that is definitely real. I also grew up with a lot of parental abandonment wounds. So hi parents, if you're on here, I love you. This is just my story, so keeping your mind open as well. So I had a really, really low self-esteem, and I really hated my body. And I really just kind of ran away from my problems and pretended that they didn't bother me for the longest time. And as a teenager, this led to, and a preteen, this led to a lot of self-harm and cutting. I was in a really, really, really depressive state, and my doctor had put me on antidepressants, and that had caused this huge chemical imbalance in my brain. And instead of helping me, the antidepressants, which I see this all the time with my clients, the antidepressants actually did the opposite, and that's when I did my cutting. So if you are an antidepressant, I would love to talk to you. If that's something that you want to try to get off of, just message me, and I have a lot of healing tools that have worked for me that may work for you as well. So I had a lot of alcohol and drug abuse in my past. Hello, I see you guys on here. A lot of alcohol and drug dependence. That's part of the whole numbing my problems. I just wanted to run away from them, and that led to a lot of confusion because I didn't really know which state of my mind, which part of my reality was I didn't have any stableness. I was either up or down, and my hormones were all crazy. And that also led to very codependent behavior, very codependent relationships, and seeking love through sex. And so that's part of my story that I am still healing from. So yeah, like I said, this is going to be very vulnerable. And eventually I couldn't take it any longer. I just kind of was sick of it. It was like every time that I would get into this dark hole, this dark, empty, depressive state, and this is like I was digging myself deeper and deeper in this hole, and I just couldn't see a way out. I was over it. I just eventually just couldn't handle anymore, I started seeking remedies. I sought out help with astrology and personal development books. And my very first spiritual mentor was Wayne Dyer. So say yay, Wayne Dyer, if you know who that is in the comments. I love him so much, and he's passed now, but you can still watch all of his books, or read all his books and watch all his videos and his education and his mentoring on YouTube. Hi. So let me know if you know who Wayne Dyer is. He's amazing. He was my first spiritual mentor, and that path actually led me to God and essential oils. So I truly believe that God placed the essential oils into my life, and the community that came with that was a lifesaver. But I'm kind of going to round back around, and that path led me to God. But I also I got very brainwashed in that religion that I was in, and there was a lot of sexual shame. You know, I had been very kind of open about my sexuality, and then I went into this religion where that wasn't okay to have sex before marriage, and I put so much shame on myself, and in the environment I didn't feel safe to have that previous background. And so I've just recently started healing from that as well. And I really lost my identity. And the church that I went to was, I'm not going to name any names, but it was very toxic for me, and it was very cliquey, and I didn't feel safe eventually. And so even though I had all those kind of negative experiences, I also had a lot of really good experiences when I found God in that moment, or in those couple years. And it was like I needed to truly empty out everything that was in me, like all of my own identity, all of everything that I thought I was, in order to rebuild. And so there was some really good things that happened as well in that period of my life. I met my husband. I was also sober for 3 years. So all of that dependence that I put onto alcohol or onto drugs, and when I say drugs, I don't mean plant medicine. I was sober completely for those 3 years, but that sobriety allowed me to figure out that I was numbing my emotions, that I was escaping my past and my traumas, and I didn't want to deal with them. And so even though I had some maybe negative experience, I also had some really amazing experiences in that time. God showed me how to become reliant on him, and now I say God is also female. There's not one or the other. I think God is both. But yeah, I met my husband, and eventually we moved across the country, and I allowed myself to start learning about chakras and astrology. I felt that that move was a huge thing that God wanted us to do, and there was synchronicities and affirmations the whole time. And having that distance allowed me to start to pick up these pieces of who I wanted to be, and start to rebuild who I wanted to be. And since then, I have dove really, really deep into my traumas. I've spent thousands of hours. I'm not kidding you guys. I spent so much time. Like, I do personal growth for fun, like, in my life. Okay, so like, here is my altar. Like, I have my journal and worksheets and books and cards, and like, I spend all of my free time like learning and developing and growing, because this self-exploration is just really important to me, and it helps me to get closer to God and to my highest self. And so anyways, yeah, I've spent thousands of hours learning about all my healing tools. So I mentioned essential oils earlier, and essential oils, they taught me how to manage my emotions. They taught me how to detox my body, so I had more stable hormones in my body. And they also taught me how to detoxify my home, so I wasn't taking in those endocrine disruptors that were not making my chemicals and my hormones unable to be stable. So I learned how to, balance out my hormones so I had more mood stability. And so you have to understand the physical aspect as well as the spiritual aspect when you're wanting emotional stability. So if you need help with that, just let me know. But I worked with shamans and other alternative healers. This has been a 5-year process for me, but I've been molded into a beautiful creation by God. And it wasn't all of these things a part of my past. It was to help me get where I am today, and I wouldn't change it for anything. My spirit guides personally worked with me and taught me probably like 60% of what I know about energy work and the spirit realm. So this process of learning who I am, developing that connection with God, all brought me to here, so I could work with spirit guides, so I could do this soul work for you guys and for me and for the community. Diane says, "You're beautiful inside and out." Aw, thanks, Diane. That was so sweet. Thank you. Being heard also is really, really healing. And so I mentioned that in that video of why sharing your story is so important. But also being heard on the other side of that is really, really special as well. So thank you, Diane, for that. And every day I'm uncovering another layer, and I'm getting closer and closer to my authentic truth. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell, and thank you for allowing me the space to share that and just to kind of allow reflection for myself. That was kind of really powerful for me to see how far I've gone over these last 5 years. And actually it's been like a 10-year journey, but I just started working with essential oils and the healing energy and all that about 5 years ago. So thank you guys for watching. That's my story, and truly I feel like if I didn't go into those really, really deep depths, then I wouldn't be able to get deep with my clients or deep with another human. And so I think that there's beauty in all the lessons that we're taught in our life, and the lessons that God's Spirit throws to us. So thank you guys for hearing my story, and I hope I can hear your guys's. Yeah, if you feel led to, I'd love to hear your guys' stories, either in comments or in videos. I would love that. But yeah, so thank you. I'm going to go now, and I'll be on next week. I love you all. Namaste.